Produced and distributed by the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws in Washington, D.C. This is your daily audio stash, the growing truth about cannabis. Daily Audio Stash is where responsible marijuana smokers listen in on the latest news about cannabis, hear the voices of the marijuana law reform movement in special segments and interviews, and kick back with comedy and music no other podcast can offer. It's NORML's Daily Audio Stash. More information at normalaudiostash.com.
Hey, is it 420 yet? This is Rick Cusick from High Times Magazine, and you're tuned into NORML's Audio Stash.
Welcome back to the Audio Stash today on this fine Friday. I'm your host, Chris Goldstein. Take a moment to join us at NORML to end marijuana prohibition in America. Just visit NORML.org. And make sure to pick up our separate weekly NORML News audio podcast. We have links to listen and subscribe at normalaudiostash.com. We have a spectacular Friday stash for you today. Great Halloween music, an interview with NORML founder Keith Strupp, and we're starting up our weekly web polls again. So make sure to visit normalaudiostash.com and cast your votes today. First up in our Friday stash, we get to ask America's most recognized marijuana lawyer, Keith Strupp, a few questions about the battle of symbology between the pot leaf and the DEA. Keith Strupp is the founder of NORML and remains the legal counsel for the foundation. It's always a privilege to speak with Keith about legal issues, and Wednesday we highlighted a story on the stash about using the marijuana leaf symbol in a courtroom. While it may seem like a cut and dry free speech case, the reality is that during a jury trial, we as citizens must help uphold an even greater ideal, justice itself. Keith, welcome back to the Audio Stash today.
It's my pleasure.
Always great to speak with you, Keith. Very interesting things are happening in a California courtroom during the trial of a medical marijuana grower, Dustin Costa, where a motion has been made to bar the public from wearing buttons or T-shirts in support of medical marijuana into the courtroom. First, is this unique?
Well, if it's a case that's unrelated to marijuana policy, let's say that there was a case going over where somebody was just being tried for murder or something, had nothing to do with marijuana, then frankly, I don't think the judge or the prosecutor or the defense lawyer would bother to even notice if some of those attending the trial had on a T-shirt with a marijuana leaf. It's sort of irrelevant to what's going on. But if, in fact, the person on trial was charged with some marijuana offense, and if the attendees were wearing shirts that said we should legalize marijuana or something along those lines, then I think it doesn't take a great leap of faith to understand why that's probably inappropriate, because the only reason to do that would be the hope that you might somehow influence the jurors. And obviously that's not an appropriate influence. The jurors are supposed to listen to the testimony and make their decision about guilt or innocence solely based on the testimony, not on the clothes or the symbols that are worn by those attending the trial. However, in this case, in particular, it sounded like the prosecutor was equally at fault. The prosecutor apparently had on some kind of a pen who indicated that she was a supporter of the DEA. Well, again, the only reason to wear that, I presume, would be to let the jury know that you're a good person. You support law enforcement. You support these police that enforce our drug laws. That should be inappropriate as well. So my brief time in private practice, I can tell you that I've certainly seen judges order people to leave the courtroom if they had signs, if they had pictures, or if they had buttons or anything that the judge thought was inappropriate. And I think that's probably the right decision. If we're going to have a justice decision based on due process, then we really have to limit those outside influences.
Keith, this is an amazing battle of symbology, the marijuana leaf versus the DEA logo. Is this the first time the DEA logo has been brought into question as influential propaganda?
I've not seen another case like this. It's certainly possible it's happened, but keep in mind, most prosecutors wouldn't have a DEA button. They might have an American flag. I see a lot of that, but I also see a lot of defense lawyers wearing an American flag. Both sides certainly have a right to suggest to the jury that they're patriotic, and that's what the American flag suggests. But I've never seen a case where the prosecutor wore a DEA button, and I don't really understand exactly why she would have it, because a prosecutor is not a member of the DEA. A prosecutor works either for the state or for the U.S. Attorney's Office, not the Drug Enforcement Administration. So it seems totally inappropriate for a prosecutor to have that on.
So what's this tradition of the public gallery in the American courtroom?
Well, by the way, keep in mind, there are occasionally cases that involve such controversial matters or matters involving national security or whatever, where they sometimes do not allow the public to attend those trials. Now, they're very rare, and in most situations, I think there's a constitutional requirement that the public be allowed to attend, and the reason is that we need people to confirm that there's essentially a fair process going on in there. And if you had a closed trial, in most situations, no one's going to know whether justice is being served or whether people are simply being railroaded into prison. So it's very important that we allow the public to sit in on trials, but it's equally as important that they be there as silent witnesses, that they not be allowed to influence the jury in any manner. And that would be anything from trying to go over and chat with the jury while the judge calls a brief recess, or whether they try to wear clothing or pins to communicate a message to the jury. All of it is inappropriate, and frankly, if lawyers do it, they would generally be held in contempt. Now, if the public did it, at least for the first time, they would simply be ordered to leave the court. If they came back a second time, then they too probably would be held in contempt. And of course, when you're held in contempt by a trial judge, frequently you go directly to jail.
So activists out there need to keep this courtroom etiquette in mind.
Well, and I think it's even a little more than etiquette. Etiquette, at least in my mind, suggests that we're trying to be courteous to each other. And of course, there is a certain level of courtesy that makes the system work better, but it's more than that. It is simply that it is totally inappropriate for those who are in the court as observers to try to influence the outcome in any way. They are not participants. To influence the outcome, you either need to be a party to the case, a witness to the case, or either the prosecutor or the defense lawyer. But the other folks that are there to assure that the process itself seems fair, but they are not advocates for either side, and if they insist on serving as advocates for either side, they're either going to be held in contempt or thrown out of the room.
And Keith, could this mean that in the future that DEA employees attending cases in the public gallery might not be able to display their DEA badges or pins or the like?
Well, keep in mind that there's even something more than that. If you are anticipating to be a witness in a case, you are generally not allowed to actually sit in on the case. You are instructed to stay totally out of the courtroom. There's usually a witness room where witnesses are given, cups of coffee and comfortable chairs and something. But you are not allowed to sit in the courtroom, and part of that is because they don't want you shaping your testimony based on what some prior witness may have said. In most cases, if a DEA agent has a direct interest in the case, if he's somebody who's going to be called to the stand to testify about some aspect of the prosecution, he is not even allowed in the courtroom generally until he's called as a witness. Now, once he's testified, he's usually free then to go ahead and sit through the trial if he wishes. Now, for those DEA agents who are simply interested in a trial and who are sitting in to see how the prosecution is doing and to see if their side looks like it's winning, I would imagine that if a defense lawyer made an objection, the judge would make them take any pins off that suggested they were with the DEA. Because again, just as the judge would not want people wearing marijuana leaves if the defendant was charged with smoking marijuana, then he also should not allow people in the audience to wear DEA pins. The whole idea here is to search for justice, and it's a little elusive. Our jury system isn't perfect, but it works a whole hell of a lot better if we don't allow observers to become participants in the process.
Keith, I want to thank you again for joining us here today on the Audio Stash and sharing your legal expertise.
My pleasure.
Keith Strupp is the founder of NORML and remains legal counsel for the foundation. Keith welcomes your questions and comments. You can email him at foundation@norml.org. Next up in the Audio Stash today, we're going to start up our Friday NORML Audio Stash music mix bag with a group that won the Global Marijuana Music Award, Herbal Nation. We ran into Stumpy, the drummer of Herbal Nation and producer of this album at the Stony Awards this week in New York City. Let me tell you, folks, these guys are even better live and in person. Stumpy is going to let us air some live recordings from the Stony Awards next week, and today we'll hear the CD version of Fat. We got links to get this CD and get it at normalaudiostash.com. that was Herbal Nation from 421 Records and Urban Funk Productions, spectacular 21st century funk for pot smokers like us. You can find the CD through links at normalaudiostash.com. And next today, a little comedy from the funny guys at Peeper Radio Theater. We haven't had any Sherlock Holmes in a while, so...
Peeper Radio Theater presents Holmes in 30 Seconds. Tonight's episode, The Case of the 6 Napoleons. And go.
Why do you bother me with these easy cases? You try and figure out who's smashing the statues, Watson.
Okay. It's some sort of anti-Napoleonic monomaniac.
Watson, you've proven yourself an idiot.
So it would appear.
The man we're looking for is an Italian. He's a sculptor, and his name is Beppo.
How the deuce did you suss that?
Oh, from a mustard stain on your trousers.
Gads, that's sharp.
Now, hand me that Napoleon statue, won't you?
By Jove, the famous Black Pearl. Beppo hid it in the statue. Holmes? Holmes, we found the pearl. You can stop smashing the statues.
I know, I've gone mad. Ha!
Time.
That was Peeper Radio Theater, found up at podshow.com. We have links to the Peeper guys at normalaudiostash.com. Now it's time to begin again with Normal's daily audio stash web polls. Head on over to normalaudiostash.com to cast your votes. And it's been a little while since we've had a new web poll, but we're going to start this again. Every single week, we'll have the chance for you to vote at least once in a web poll. We used to have 2 a week. We're going to try and get back to 2 a week again. We just got flooded with email, and, well, go ahead. Flood us with email again. That's what we like here at the Audio Stash. So today we got 2 web polls up on the website. Go to normalaudiostash.com and cast your votes. Poll question number 1. Do you still trick or treat? Hey, come on, you can admit it. You know what I don't like is the folks who trick or treat without a costume. They get the X-Lax candies, you know what I'm saying? But if you come with a costume, doesn't matter what age, if you come to my door, as long as you got a costume on, you'll get a big handful of candy at this house, let me tell you. So, do you still dress up in costumes and trick or treat of any age? Answer yes or no and let us know at normalaudiostash.com. We also have a second poll up there, more of a commentary poll. Let us know what your favorite costume ever was, and that you have to have worn it. You can't just say, oh, I saw some cool costume across the room or across the party. You actually have to have worn the costume you're calling your favorite. And if folks want to send in pictures too, that's great. You can send your pics to podcast@norml.org and go on up to normalaudiostash.com. Cast your votes today in Normal's daily Audio Stash web polls. We'll announce the results next Tuesday on the Audio Stash. Everyone should be voting right now at normalaudiostash.com in our super fun Friday web polls. And while you're voting, here's a track found up at podshow.com from the artist Anduze. This is Just Feel Good.
I breathe every day to try to find a better way and use my gift of life in what I do and say. But some days it gets a little bit colder. I feel like I'm a little bit older. Gotta keep on moving if I'm gonna get my way. Wherever I end up, I'm gonna make it feel like home. 'Cause man, I got to tell you, life's about moving on till you're satisfied, yeah. My life's had twists and turns. Believe me, every now and then it burns. But I'm living in much tougher skin from what I've learned. 'Cause everything leads up to now. We always work it out somehow. You pay your dues, be patient, things will come around. Wherever I end up, I'm gonna make it feel like home. 'Cause man, I got to tell you, life's been moving on until you're satisfied, yeah. I wanna speak my mind if that's okay with you. Maybe we could vibe and listen to this groove and just feel good tonight. I took some time to see the world, it opens up your eyes. Amazing how a new perspective makes you realize time moves faster as we grow. Sometimes we gotta take it slow. Look around and just enjoy ourselves. 'Cause life is beautiful, yeah. I wanna speak my mind if that's okay with you. Maybe we could vibe and listen to this groove and just feel good tonight. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, ba-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. Yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Life is beautiful. Hey. I wanna speak my mind if that's okay with you. Maybe we could vibe and listen to this groove. Just feel good tonight. I don't think y'all heard me, no. I said I wanna speak my mind if that's okay with you. Maybe we could vibe and listen to this groove. Just feel good tonight. One more time I said, yeah. I wanna speak my mind if that's okay with you. Just feel good.
That was Anduze from podshow.com, and we have links to all the artists you hear at normalaudiostash.com. Now, as we get towards Halloween, my absolute favorite holiday of all time, the one day a year that everyone gets free munchies. We got some Halloween music and comedy from podshow.com, and as we all get older, Halloween takes on some different connotations. It's not just about the candy itself anymore. So we'll start with this track from Kyla, Candy-Coated Sugar Sex.
Hey kids, want to know about a hot new snack sweeping the nation?
Yeah!
It's called Jimble Jamble. Jimble Jamble is a jumble of buttery popcorn, salty peanuts, delicious black licorice, and crunchy thyme-flavored fiber chunks sure to make your taste buds go, mmm. Jimble Jamble, another great snack from the Squall Collective, maker of sugary tofu treats and Olympic curling, the snack.
All right. The sun is setting in the west, the shadows are growing tall. A bad moon's on the rise tonight, the children of the night call. Tonight the graves are opening up, the strangest sights are seen. Keep all doors and windows locked this night of Halloween. I sneak into your dreams at night, my voice enthralls your mind. You cannot fight my cold deep eyes or the evil that lurks behind. The twilight mist dims your view, it's all like in a dream. Revelations of doom appears this night of Halloween. Souls were unclean, lives that should have never been come to life on Halloween. Should have never been come to life on Halloween. The sun is setting in the west, the shadows are growing tall. A bad moon's on the rise tonight, the children of the night call. Tonight the graves are opening up, the strangest sights are seen. Keep all doors and windows locked this night of Halloween.
We are the undead, immortal. No man can harm us unless he bores a stake through our hearts, or beheads us. No one is protected from us unless they hold the hated cross. Yes. I can savor the most extreme of Satan's delights. I can feed on the blood of a human victim.
No, not me.
It is a test. One who is dedicated to the devil and his deeds will not die by a vampire's bite, but will become one of the undead. A vampire. The good and the innocent die.
Jimble Jamble?
You can't eat Jimble Jamble for breakfast.
What are you, the breakfast police? Actually, you can eat Jimble Jamble for breakfast, now with Jimble Jamble cereal. Crunchy popcorn, salty peanuts, zesty black licorice, cancerous additives, and crunchy time-flavored fiber chunks, covered in powdered sugar. We've even added cinnamon marshmallows for a taste sensation that's sure to please. And kids, there's a prize inside too. Wow. Sean Hannity action figure. Hooray. Jimble Jamble is a product of the Squall Collective, makers of such cereals as Uncle Shelty's Puffed Beets and Everybody Loves Sorghum.
We started that set off with Kyla and Candy-Coated Sugar Sex, found up at podshow.com. There was some comedy in there from Smart Bomb Radio, and we ended things off with that track by a group called the Coffin Shakers and Halloween. Everyone, have an absolutely wonderful weekend, and visit our website for links to all the artists we air at normalaudiostash.com. This has been NORML's Daily Audio Stash, the growing truth about cannabis. Visit our website at normalaudiostash.com. If you listen to the Audio Stash, vote for us at Podcast Alley or other podcast directory services. I'm your host, Chris Goldstein. Thanks for listening today. Everyone have a fun summer weekend out there, and we're back at 4:20 on Monday. The podcasting technology of NORML is made possible by Red Aphid Interactive Media. More information at redapphid.com.